Are you ready for an exciting word adventure? Join us as we meet fun letters, discover awesome words, and play with sounds on an epic phonics journey. Sing songs, create words, and have a blast along the way.
My hat and my bag, and let's go visit the market.
Catch Word Adventure on Feel It. Weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. only on TVWAN.
Digicel TV, home of Rugby League. Dial *515# to subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the Midday News. The Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, has proposed to venture into downstream processing of wood products within a special economic zone with the PNG Forest Authority. He proposed recently during a special meeting with the PNG Forest Authority, Managing Director John Mosoro, and senior officers. They discussed strategic solutions to implement the government policy relating to the phase-out of log export and promote downstream processing of all logs in the country under the current Special Economic Zone policy. Mosoro emphasized the need to fast-track special tasks relating to the amendment of the Forest Act, total forest inventory of the forest resources, reforestation and plantation programs, and downstream processing of all logs into wood products for export to international markets. PNGFA expressed concern regarding the lack of financial lending to support the government policy on the log export ban and downstream processing. Prime Minister James Marape has warned that Papua New Guinea will not be immune from the effects of global economic shocks stemming from recent United States tariff hikes, and has urged the country to remain vigilant as his government monitors and manages the situation.
Prime Minister James Marape made these remarks sweeping away claims that tariff increases imposed by the United States on China and other key global economies represent a tectonic shift in global trade and commerce that will inevitably have downstream consequences for small import-dependent nations like Papua New Guinea. The Prime Minister reassured the people of Papua New Guinea that relevant government agencies are closely monitoring the situation and assessing the potential economic risk with regard to inflation and the rising cost of goods and services. However, he warned that PNG must prepare for the possibility of price increases, supply chain disruptions, and investment slowdowns due to strong global economic headwinds globally. But the Prime Minister also assured the country that his government is managing the country's economy prudently and are focused on the national budget priorities. The Prime Minister acknowledged that some impacts may be unavoidable in the short term, but expressed confidence in the medium to long-term outlook, citing over $40 billion worth of resource projects in the pipeline. Freddie Moe, TV1 News.
The Prime Minister will once again put Medicare at the center of his re-election pitch, promising Australians to access free healthcare advice after hours with a GP telehealth hotline. The $200 million investment is to be unveiled at a Labour rally in Western Sydney.
Well, the Prime Minister will be returning to his favoured campaign topic today, and that is health, unveiling a $200 million plan to rebrand an existing free health advice hotline and expanding it to include free GP telehealth consults after hours. So from January 1 next year, if Labor's re-elected, the existing Health Direct service will become 1800 Medicare. There will be a registered nurse rostered on 24/7. Australians can call this service, get free health advice. They can be referred to the service they need, or in urgent cases after hours, they can be connected with a GP appointment via phone or web. Now, the government says this service will be available nationwide and will ensure 250,000 Australians can avoid going to an emergency department each year.
This is not intended as a substitute for your relationship with your usual GP. This is intended to cover circumstances where people need to be seen immediately, need some quick advice, particularly, for example, when your kid gets sick. So, it's not intended to replace the relationship people have, a really important relationship people have with their usual GP. So
this builds on a series of health-related announcements made during this campaign by Labor. We've seen promises to expand urgent care clinics, to invest billions to boost bulk billing rates and to make the price of essential medicines cheaper. Now, this latest pledge will be unveiled at a rally in Western Sydney. After that, the Prime Minister will take a brief pause to prepare for the fourth and final leaders' debate of the campaign. Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton to go head-to-head one last time tonight, with just a few days to go until polling day.
WA's Pilbara region is known as the engine room of the country, and in the town of Newman, one woman has spent more than a decade carefully documenting its historic significance.
I can remember the trip to Newman. I remember the surroundings changing and the bush looked, beautiful. I think it was an exciting time for those young people.
What began as a whale-shaped mountain on the edge of the Great Sandy Desert is now the jewel of mining giant BHP's iron ore empire, worth more than $24 billion a year. But when Lisa Rickett returned to Newman after a stint away in 2013, she was worried the human stories behind this immense mineral wealth would be lost.
I was helping a lady called Margaret, and she was going to organise a Newman reunion, and we realised that a lot of the records had just disappeared. So, I thought that was such a shame.
Miss Rickett got to work, recording more than 100 interviews with current and former residents and collating their stories, including Charlie Snell, who came to Newman in 1966.
He was known as the Snake Man. In those days, there was 2 men to a tent at Tent City, but no one would share with Charlie because he usually had a reptile on his person. And he, along with the help of the local First Nations people, collected seedlings and started Newman's first nursery.
These stories have now moved from online to the physical world. Miss Rickett recently bought one of the first homes built here, decorating the walls with photos of iconic Newman characters.
Being so isolated back then and so far away from family, which we are today, the people, the friends that you make in town, they sort of become your family.
Preserving the value of an outback community.
In sports, a last-minute penalty meant that the Cook Islands and Papua New Guinea had to settle for a point apiece on match day 1 at the OFC Under-16 Women's Championship 2025, qualifying in Rarotonga on Sunday. With just 3 nations comprising the qualifying phase, a winning start for either side would put them in pole position to advance, with American Samoa lying in wait on match day 2. It was Papua New Guinea who got the perfect start, opening the scoring after just 9 minutes, with Angelica Raminai taking advantage of space afforded to her in the penalty area and finishing from close range. Cook Islands captain Metua Maru Arere followed that up with an effort of her own. Arere was the focal point for much of Cook Islands' attack, though cut a frustrated figure as his side struggled to find that equalizing goal. Adam Doe slotted a penalty goal in the second period of Golden Point to put the Tigers to a 2018 victory over Cronulla at Lakeland Oval on Sunday. Both teams had their shots at game-winning field goals in regulation and extra time, but it was a 2-on-1 strip that gifted Doe the game winner. He potted the 25-meter shot into the gate, sparking jubilant scenes at the Tigers' spiritual home. Tigers coach Benji Marshall described that game as crazy and an emotional roller coaster. It marked the first NRL game for 5'8" Lachlan Galvin after the 19-year-old was dropped to reserve grade last week over a contract dispute. Galvin set up the first try and made a try-saver in the dying moments of regulation in a complete performance. Here are the highlights.
Should rather be on a Sunday. Leichhardt Oval, just about chockers, and Galvin has to dive to take the first catch of the afternoon, and there's already an illustration of the breeze. Played quickly by Twal. Galvin steaming onto it, ball around the corner, Sam Weatherford has gone over, and Galvin's late on the first one. Hines, Tyndall, Kennedy, Ramian, Naden trying to cling on. Kennedy got back behind the ball to stay alive. Promotes the pass, one-handed offload. Nico Hines, he dumps it away now to Ronaldo. He goes charging through them. Ronaldo Mulatalo. Play to Brayley. Nico Hines saying short, they're over. It's a try to Billy Burns. A great resurgence by the Sharks. Hines, no issues, 18 each. Coruscant back to Luai. He's going to go out to Dewey. Dewey tries to kick a field goal from almost 30 out. It's out to the right-hand side of the post. Last tackle for Cronulla. Trindle on the 30-metre line. Trindle steps up, whacks it towards the sticks. The ball closer out to the right-hand side. And now Brett Naden sprinting back. Here's Hines with another chance to win it. He switches, he goes back to Trindle, he's outside the 30. He doesn't get a sweet hit at all. The Tigers might be close enough for a shot here. Another good run by Fainu. On the 30, 3 minutes of Golden Point time left. He's up inside the 30. It's a penalty! It's a penalty! One good kick and the Tigers have won the game. He's done it! What a win! One of their best ever. The Tigers 20 have beaten the Sharks 18.
And that ends our midday news today. Do join us at 6 tonight for the main bulletin. Goodbye.